Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. We will continue our lecture. There is not much chapter left. The remaining, this will be the remaining 3 slides for this. So we'll continue on our lecture on plant maintenance. There will be two parts of plant maintenance. So there will be the part ones for plant maintenance. So basically we'll go through what is maintenance, the definition of maintenance. It is the act of maintaining or the state of being maintained, meaning that you have to maintain the safety, the cleanliness, the regulations. Those are all included in maintenance. The work of keeping something in a proper condition, all action necessary retaining equipment. So all maintenance regarding the work, the condition, equipment, the documents, those are all considered as a maintenance. These are all the objectives of a good maintenance management. Number one is to collect necessary maintenance cost information. You have an overall idea of how much is the cost information for maintenance. To minimize energy usage, when you do maintenance, of course, you can minimize the energy because all of your equipments are in a very good conditions. So you can minimize the energy usage. Then you can optimize the maintenance resources. You can have the full support of all the equipments and your human resource, so you have the optimized maintenance resources. And then you can minimize the inventory on hand. You can maximize production. When you do all maintenance, everything is well kept and everything is good in your equipment. So you maximize the production at the lowest cost and the highest quality within the optimal safety. This is the main point in doing the maintenance. To provide accurate equipment maintenance records, we have all the records. This is very important. When you do maintenance, you have all the maintenance record of all your equipment in case of anything happen. You can identify and implement the cost reduction and also optimize capital equipment life. These are all the main objective. Why do you need to do a maintenance? Okay. Next, there are 4 types of maintenance: reactive, corrective, preventive, predictive. Okay. So you need to understand what does each of these mean for reactive, corrective, preventive, and predictive. We go to the first one, reactive. This is the most efficient maintenance ways to do in your plants. It is equipment is run until it breaks down. So meaning that you run all your equipments and you stop until your equipment is breakdown. Then this is the most expensive way to coordinate maintenance, because you just go through your equipment, you just run through your equipment without any proper investigation or without proper checking the equipment, and you just run your equipment until it breakdowns. So this is the reactive maintenance. It's the most expensive way, because when you run all equipment and when it breaks down, you have to, for example, you have to stop all the production and your company gonna be lost. So that's why you cannot use this reactive maintenance. So equipment service level is generally below acceptable level and product quality is usually impacted, because when you have to stop down your production, of course you have a loss. Okay. So process of reacting to fail. So these are all the least effective ways of maintenance. Normally, the reactive maintenance ignores any preventive measures and simply deals with the problem or issue when it is reported. When they run all the equipments and when there is any issue, then they will address the issue. So meaning that they just face whatever happened when they face it. So this is the reactive. You react whenever there is something happen to your equipment. That is called reactive maintenance. The second one is a corrective maintenance. Corrective maintenance activities are generated from planned inspection. This is routine operational request and routine service requirement. This is a routine activities maintenance. Okay, is normally it has a backlog or should be planned or it is scheduled in advance for equipment. This is the most cost effective because reducing performance cost more or less 2 to 4 times compared to reactive maintenance, because you have a routine operational maintenance. You keep all your records, so you check all your equipments in advance, so you can reduce the breakdown of your equipment. Corrective maintenance consists of the action taken to restore or fail system. Usually involves replace or repair the component that is responsible for the failure of the overall system. So when you do preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance, you can know what are the small things that can lead to a bigger failure of your equipment. Corrective maintenance is performed at unpredictable interval because of component failure at time is not known, because you don't know when your equipment's gonna fail. So it's unpredictable. So objective of corrective maintenance to restore the system to a satisfactory operation within the shortest possible time. You diagnose the problem, repair, and verification after the repair. Next is the preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance, unlike of the corrective maintenance, is the practice of replacing component before they fail. This is kind of a bit expensive because normally you don't replace your equipment or component parts before they fail. But this is one thing that you prevent before the failure happen. So you replace you replace some of the component of that system will fail in order to promote continuous system operation. You don't want uh, production interference or to stop your operation. That's why when they do inspection, when they see that this part of a component in your equipment is something wrong, so you need to replace them before they fail. So the schedule for preventive maintenance is based on observation of past system behavior, meaning that when do you do this preventive maintenance is you need to observe of the past system behavior. You know how your equipment behave before, component wear out mechanism, and knowledge of which component are vital to continue the system operation. These are all, you know which part is vital, needs to replace. So these are called preventive maintenance. And of course, cost is always a factor to do this preventive maintenance. Okay, you need to replace something that is not failed, it's not broken yet. Preventive maintenance are similar with your lubrication program. For example, your car. You do your preventive maintenance every 3 months, every 6 months to replace your lubrication oil. This is to make sure that your engine runs smoothly, even though it is a bit expensive, but it will lead to a smooth running of your engine. This is similar with your preventive maintenance routine inspection. Many potential problems can thus be corrected before they occur. The primary goal of preventive maintenance is to prevent the failure of equipment before it actually occurs. So this is all about preventive maintenance. You can just read all of this. Okay, and the last one of, of the maintenance is predictive. Predictive maintenance allows failures to be forecast through analysis of the equipment's condition. This is more to prediction of the equipment based on the condition of the equipment. The analysis is generally conducted through some form of trending of parameters such as vibration, temperature, and flow. In each equipment, the technician will jot down or will record all the parameter of the equipment, such as the vibration or the temperature and the flow. So from that, you can predict the behavior of your equipment. For example, you have the record of a 1 month's temperature or 1 month's flow of your equipment, and then when there is something wrong, or is that you can see, you can predict the behavior of your equipment from this record. So predictive maintenance differ from preventive maintenance differ from predictive, because it focuses on manual tasks. But predictive maintenance uses some form of technology. Preventive focus on manual tasks, you inspect. But predictive use some form of technology where you record and you predict, you have a model. Predictive maintenance allow equipment to be repaired at times, do not interfere with production schedule. And the equipment service level will be very high under the predictive maintenance. Those are all the 4 types of maintenance. I hope you guys could understand and remember the definitions of all 4 of the maintenance types of categories. Next, we go to safety in maintenance. Of course, you do the maintenance in order to keep your equipment or plant in safety. Okay. So, what are the procedures of maintenance? The regular maintenance should be governed by a formal written procedure. Of course, you need to write your procedures. You need to have a document and supported by necessary documentation. It should include documentation on the procedure themselves, by PNID diagram, instrumentation, electrical system diagram. The documentation, whether procedures, diagram, or record, should be kept up to date. And how do you control the system of your maintenance? You use your permit system. When you do your maintenance, it should be governed by a formal permit to work system, PTW. We call it PTW. Why do you need a permit in order to do your system? In order to do your maintenance. To see the proper consideration is given to the job. Hazard and precaution. You need to know what are the hazards when you do your maintenance. What are the precaution necessary measures need to do when you do your maintenance, to ensure that these are understood by all persons involved when you do your maintenance, and to facilitate effective communication between the parties concerned. Handover system. Process plant oil. Of course, when there is a shift, or there is a lot of people are handling the equipment, all the people need to understand the behavior of the equipment. Thus, you need to have an handover system, which is that from engineer A to engineer B, the engineer A need to hand over all the information about the equipment to engineer B, so that both of them understand the condition of the equipment that they are working. The lack of such system was held to have been cause of the Piper Alpha disaster. This is one of the things, because they're not happen from the Piper Alpha disaster because of lack of handover system. Control of workforce. The core maintenance of workforce of company employees may be supplemented by contractors. So contractors need to be controlled when you do the maintenance. Normally the maintenance is done by the contractors. The company will sub the job to the contractors to do. So you need to control them, the workforce. What are the preparation in order to do your maintenance? Number one, you need to identify the equipment that need to be maintained. Okay. It is often difficult to identify equipment simply by tracing the cause of bad work or by the use of other clues. You need to really identify which equipment need to be maintained. Because many incidents occur due to error in identification, because they wrongly identify the wrong equipment need to be carried out. You need to really identify the equipment. Identification should be consistent. It should follow the standard code of practice in order to identify the equipment. Next, installation. When the equipment that you need to maintain or need to be worked with should be isolated. This include you need to isolate vessels and pipe from process utility fluids. Isolate machinery from its power source. Isolate from electrical equipment. Next will be emptying of liquid. If you are maintaining a vessel which contain a liquid, it needs to be pumped away to another part of the plant because so that easier maintenance can be done. If there is all solid, so it need to be removed. If it is gas, it needs to be purged out by forced ventilation or by flushing with water and or by purging it or by steaming it. So that is will be the first part of our uh, plant maintenance part one. I will continue second part, which is more focused on the preparation of the maintenance.